Hi, welcome to the Doctor's Call. We do the call every Tuesday at noon Eastern Time. And this week we are actually bringing it to you live, so we hope you enjoy that. We're going to ask you to participate with us, give us some hearts, some likes, smiley faces, and go ahead and share it on your own Facebook wall if you want to, so that we reach more people with this great health information that Doc Bisnick brings to us each and every week. So what are we going to talk about today, Doc?
Hey, we're going to talk about Lyme's disease today. It's an important topic. It seems like, in the fall, a lot of us...
Oh, you're cutting out on me. Hang on. Say that again, that last sentence.
Oh, we're going to be out in the woods, exposed to more deer ticks and things like that. So
Right.
So it's an important topic.
I think so. Because, it's pretty prominent now, isn't it?
Oh, God, I was just writing down some things, and it's interesting. 300,000 new cases per year just in the United States.
Wow.
Isn't that a lot?
300,000. That's huge.
300,000 new cases just in the United States. And a lot of times using traditional medicine, using antibiotics, over-the-counters, different things like that, they're able to get rid of the infection. But the problem is that it mimics so many other diseases that what happens is that a lot of cases go undiagnosed till.
Well, so then they're basically treating them for other things, and it's not applicable.
Right. I was just going to share with you here. This is just a photo here that it shows a lot of the diseases. Hang on. Why isn't that there? So it's the great imitator. Can you see?
It says you've started screen sharing.
Can you see that?
Not yet. There I do.
Okay. Yep. And so it shows that that Lyme disease can cause, it can look like lupus, it can look like thyroid disease, it can look like chronic fatigue, it can look like fibromyalgia, anxiety, panic, things like that. Isn't that interesting?
Well, those are all really other serious things that, a lot of people have. So, if it's Lyme disease, you'd want to know that, right? So you could treat it appropriately.
Exactly. And so here's another photo that I copied from Dr. Axe's webpage. And like I said, it shows 300,000 as the number of annual Lyme cases reported here in the United States. And
25,000 per month?
25,000 per month. 34 cases per hour.
Wow. We need to quit killing possums and making chicken or soup out of them, because I hear they're the animal that eats a lot of ticks.
Yeah. Well, and the other thing is that I think that we got to start looking at a new way of diagnosing it. So in the past, we've used a test that what it did, it looked for antibodies. Well, it could take over 3 weeks for the antibodies to actually show up in your system in order to diagnose it.
Wow.
So in the meantime, the doctors are busy saying, well, you don't have Lyme disease, you might have this, you might have this. They're throwing things at you, and they're not treating you as though you have Lyme disease. So
right.
This is new. This is new, and I'm going to show you this. I thought this was interesting. Where did I put this on here? There. Here's a photo. This is from Oxford Academic. This is something that the CDC has improved now. It's a new test that we can do, and it's a DNA test. It's instantly diagnoses you.
Okay.
Look at the date on that. I mean,
October 11th? That's pretty
October
new.
11th, 2018.
Yeah.
Right? And so it's an accurate test. They can determine right away that if you have Lyme disease. And so, for a lot of people out there that aren't familiar with Lyme disease, I just wanted to cover a few things. So what is Lyme disease? Well, it's considered to be a tick-borne illness, but now that they're finding that it can actually be passed on, like if through sexual contact.
Really?
Yeah, and they're finding that it can be passed on from a mother to a baby.
Through breastfeeding or childbirth?
Through childbirth.
Hmm. Wow.
Interesting, right? And what it is, it's a chronic infection that causes an immune reaction and to this bacterium that's passed on by the tick bite. And so it's right now they're saying that it's the deer tick and another type of tick called the black-legged ticks. And it's primarily the deer tick seems to be out on the eastern shores, of the United States, and the black-legged tick seems to be more on the west coast. But here in the middle, you get up around the Great Lakes, like where you live. You get up around Minnesota, down around Mayo Clinic, where Mayo Clinic is. And they actually found a new bacterium that's causing it. They named it. They actually named it after Mayo. It's called the Borrelia mayonnaise. I mean, who would want to have a disease named after them? Holy cow.
Right.
That'd be like having a disease called andriitis.
Right.
Inflammation by contact.
I think I have that one.
Inflammation from contacting Andrea.
Be nice.
I know. I'm just kidding. Everybody that's on the call, that I'm just kidding. But Lyme's disease, if it's not treated, it's going to affect a lot of the vital organs, the blood vessels, the immune system. The CDC says, it can cause infections and degenerative joint disease, arthritis. It can affect the heart. I have a friend of mine that's affected her nervous system. I've got another friend that it affected her endocrine system. It can affect the central nervous system. And, typically, but not always, people see a rash. And it's kind of got that bullseye look to it. But you don't have to have that. That's only in 70% of cases. And it causes initially like flu-like symptoms, chronic fatigue, digestive problems, mood swings. Wow, Andrea, that's almost every female I know.
Well, maybe.
It causes headaches, right? Headaches. And according to the American Medical Association, that's like 70% of adults right there have headaches. And so how do you know that you have it? It causes brain fog. You and I have been talking about dementia and Alzheimer's over the course of the last month quite a lot. And so can it cause people to think they're losing their mind, they're having Alzheimer's, they're having dementia, and they start thinking that direction rather than Lyme disease?
Yeah, I have two questions from what you just said. Like you mentioned a target-like rash. Is that around the site of the insect biting you, or is that just rashes on your body that are in circles?
Oh, it would be where the insect actually bit you.
Okay. So you're like freaking out because it's either brown recluse or a Lyme disease, right?
Right. And now they're saying that maybe it can, it might have gotten to where it can be passed on by mice, because mice actually are one of the big carriers of wood ticks. Oh,
really?
Yeah.
So because it's like a systematic infection, so it must lower your immune system because it's busy fighting that. So is that what brings on all these other symptoms?
Yeah. So, yeah, what happens is that it gets into your system, and then you have an autoimmune reaction to it.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's, crazy. You know, that, so this is what the Centers for Disease Control states. I jotted this down. I thought this was important. Here's what they say. They say, studies do not show that patients who undergo prolonged courses of antibiotics do any better than those that were treated with a placebo.
All right, and then your antibiotics are killing off your gut biome.
So is it the antibiotic that's causing autoimmune because it triggers the leaky gut syndrome, right? Or is it the
You were breaking up there. I don't know if it's my receiver.
Oh, you're cutting out. Are you there?
Yeah, you're not coming in loud and clear here, but it might be me.
Yeah, if you've got a bad signal, I've got good signal here. So if you got bad internet signal, anyhow, so you want to boost up your immunity, right? And so we're going to talk a little bit about that. You want to eat nutrient-dense food. You want to have an anti-inflammatory type diet, things like that. So what I'm going to do here is I want to play a video. So hang on one second. I want to play a video that I have right here.
There you are.
And so this is a testimonial from
Can't hear it.
How about now?
Mm-mm.
You can't hear it?
You might have to unplug your headset.
Hang on. I can hear
That's good. We'd like to hear it too.
it. If I play it through my microphone here, can you hear it?
I'm not hearing Christy at all.
Okay, hang on one second. I'm gonna jump online here, and I'm gonna jump on with this link on my phone, and then I'll play it.
Okay.
Hang on, everyone.
Yeah, just hang on. We're getting some technology straightened out here.
All right. Can you hear me through my telephone now?
Yes, I do.
Okay. So I'm going to play this through my phone.
Okay. Can you turn it up?
No, the volume is already out.
Can you turn it up on your phone?
And so when my husband and my daughter,
There you go. You have to move your phone away from the computer. Move the phone away from your computer. Ouch, doesn't that hurt?
No, Andrea, if I mute it, then it doesn't work.
this summer of 2014, my daughter, who was
Can you hear it now?
wanted to come home to be closer.
Can you hear now?
And she wanted her nieces and nephews to get to know her again.
Can you hear now?
You have to turn your phone back up.
And so I booked the tickets, and my husband said, my husband and I have what to do right back with my daughter.
You're relentless.
Can you hear now?
Or you're going to have to turn the phone off. We'll just post it on Sisel Doctors Clinic page, and they can
Can you
listen
hear
to
it? I'm asking you a question. Can you hear me?
I can now. Yes.
Andrea,
Yes.
thumbs up or
Yes.
no?
Mm-hmm.
Can you hear the call?
No. No, what I'm saying is,
So at that point, what she didn't know,
okay, now I can hear it.
really ill this past year, spiraling down again.
Okay, I'm going to start it over
really
then.
Lousy after all kinds of things that I have been trying, all kinds of research I've been doing for 4 years. I have drawers full of natural and medicines from the doctors. I have a pullout full, and it just wasn't working anymore. And so I was at a point where I needed to try something to help me, and because I could not stand it anymore. And so that was the beginning of the change of my life. And so I'm getting emotional. Maybe you should stop. Anyways, so Laura let me try her products where I was with her. And when you have Lyme disease and you are starting to kill off the Lyme, you often have a herxine. For those of you that have Lyme disease out there, you'll know what I mean. And it's very awful, but it's part of the process. And that's exactly what happened. I herxed, and I was very, very sick for about the first 3 days. But from day 4 on, everything changed. I started to feel really good. I started to have lots of energy. My soreness started to go away. I could think clearly. And just from that point on, from day 4 on, I am here to tell you that I'm not sore anymore. I don't have headaches anymore.
4
I
days.
can go all day long. I'm not crashing where I couldn't hold my eyes open before. Now I go. My eyes are clear. They used to be foggy. I don't have pain, severe pain in any other parts of my body. I'm not having headaches. It is just absolutely amazing. And what I have been taking is called the Triangle of Life through Sisel International. And it is Focoidin, Eternity, and Spretomax. And for those of you that would like to know more about it, you can call me or email me, and I will tell you all about that. I also take Brain Vitality, which helps clear out the brain. I have Lyme, so it's in my brain. And so that was very vital. I also take Body Shield, which is another one that's really, really big and really excited to tell you about.
Can you still hear me, Andrea?
It's breaking up on my end. I don't know if it's my end or your end.
Can you hear me all right?
Talk.
Yes?
It's kind of staticky.
Okay, well, I'm trying to get to another video here that I want to play. And this one is actually, it's
Yeah.
Tom. This
Now I
is
can hear.
okay, so this is a recording from 2 years ago that we did with Tom Maurer. And you can hear from that testimony, and I'll put it below the other video too, so we have it. But here's the other audio that I want to play. So hang on 1 second while I get this going.
Hi everybody, this is my friend and just a brilliant scientist, probably one of the smartest people I've ever met in my life. And he formulated this based on real science.
Can you hear that, Andrea?
He's got a nutritional company
Yes.
out in Utah. And I believe what you have 18 full-time scientists just researching the research for you?
Yeah, about that many. I don't keep track, but 18, 20, we're somewhere in there. But they basically follow what I direct them to do. And although we're researching the science, and the key to our success is researching the research that's been done in science, because much of this won't be, well, it's published and they make discoveries. Much doesn't come to the market, and what does takes a long, long time to get there. And a lot of the science comes from universities and drug research companies, pharmaceutical companies, and find something in nature, which is over half of the medicines came, they're first originated in nature, they then in turn have to make a synthetic molecule that will mimic the same effects, because the law is that all natural ingredients are God-given and no one has the right to patent them. So that's why you have prescription drugs with tremendous amounts of side effects, because the ingredient themselves might elicit the same response that the natural one does, but the natural one is compatible with the body and the other one is not, and so you see all the advertisements with all of the side effects, which takes up so much of the time, because that's the way synthetic molecules, in large part, operate. So when I build a product, I take a look at the greatest science that is available, some of it newly discovered.
It's really breaking up again.
It's been around for a while, it's well proven, and I build a formulation together, knitting the pieces in. So we have a lot of different methods of attack, but we look at the primary thing we're having to do, and then we come in with all of the peripheral ingredients that enhance it, make it more potent, work in another different way than the other. And so there's, with Lyme's disease, it's quite a complex disease, and there are so many symptoms. Just recently they found out how the Borrelia bacteria, which causes Lyme disease, progresses through the body, but up to recently they didn't know that. But what it does is it progresses up through your capillaries and arteries and veins, and it goes upstream, so to speak. The blood is flowing one way, and they're a lot like some types of animals that live in the watery areas, and where especially where there's a fast-running stream. And a lot of insects will get on the stream, and they face upstream, and then their feet have claws on them that dig back in, and so that can't be washed away. And then when they release it and take a step forward, then it grabs in again. The principle is just exactly the same with this bacterium. And so they slowly progress upstream until they come to a place where they have more vulnerability, an area to penetrate. And that's why the disease is so difficult and so different with so many people, because it could deposit in the knees or in the liver or brain or anywhere that it can go. I don't think it goes through the blood-brain barrier. Sorry about that. But any other organ or muscles. And so you have all of these effects from it, and then it starts affecting whatever biological system can be in your endocrine system and damaging it. So with this, it's been really difficult for scientists and doctors to diagnose it properly. In fact, it's about half of the people that are diagnosed with Lyme disease do not indeed have it. They just have some of the symptoms. And so you need to understand in medicine, the definition of a physician is they practice the art of medicine. Now think about that. They're not applying proven science. They're practicing the art of medicine. So when you go to the doctor and you have a symptom, they will try and give you something to treat the symptoms, because that's where medicine makes its money. If they cure the disease or whatever the affliction is, then they lose the customer. So now most pharmaceutical products are designed to make money, and that means you want a repeat customer. So they put the money that they invest into it into designing the product that will treat the symptom. And likewise with Lyme, there are lots of symptoms and things like that that occur, but that makes it also hard for them to diagnose. So I'm a research scientist, and I have a large team that works for me, but I want to know what the real answers are, the best answers. So I went into a number of different types of companies and formulations and technologies, and started researching what was discovered as single source ingredients. And I've come up with a product, and I call it, appropriately named, is the Avenger. And the Avenger goes really after what you want to accomplish in this. Now, I can't make a claim that this will cure Lyme's disease, and I can just make the claims that it will support the body in its fight against them. And drug companies make it so that if you make a claim like that, they say, well, you can make it, but if you haven't got the studies and tests building can be shut down, products confiscated, banks accounts seized, because big pharma and big medicine is heavily supported by the Food and Drug Administration and FTC because they want to have a captive market. And I won't get too much into the politics of it, but for every single lobbyist there is in Washington, D.C., there are 3 that lobby for pharmaceuticals and medicine. So it's so big business, and that's why things are so ridiculously priced, and they have to go through this approval process to be able to make the claims. And synthetic molecules are first mainly discovered and proven in natural ones, and then they go into synthetics. So I've taken the natural discoveries that have been designed and have made this formulation. Biggest problem with the bacterium is that it has a biofilm and shell on it. And with that, it hides it to the immune system. And of course, the immune system goes after bacteria and viruses and all the types of infections you might have, fungus, yeast, mold, any of those things. But the bacterium is hidden from the antibodies in the blood system, and they can't identify it because of this biofilm. So one of the most important things in treating Lyme's disease, and I have to say supporting perhaps Lyme's disease, is the fact that you have to do something with the biofilm. If you can't, you're not going to get to it. And then you need to support the immune system and provide other types of ingredients that have properties with them to use. So we go after it, and we use a combination of things. One of the most important ones is a thing called the glycerol monolaurate, and it's a very powerful compound. It actually comes out of coconut, and when they manufacture and extract it, it is able to effectively dissolve much of that biofilm that's there and make it vulnerable to the rest of the body. Now, some companies do know that, and a few companies do use it, but the problem is they see the studies, and the amount they use is not coordinated to what the results were. For instance, with formulations that I've looked at, and I'm just give you a ballpark range, you know, they're usually, the dosage is about 500 or 600 milligrams a day. And the reality of it is that it takes about 2,500, about 5 times as much to really be effective. And so when I saw what was being done, I thought, well, yeah, they're putting some in and maybe there's some mild effect, but the real studies say it takes about 2,500 milligrams to really be effective. So that's what we put in our product with that. And then we use some things to come in and to help to crack the shell. And one of those that supports that is cat's claw, which is, and also has some great properties for anti-inflammatory and many things like that that normally you wouldn't find in products. But it works really well with it. And we have some things to bring it in and bring the immune system up in so many different ways, and to make the bacterium more vulnerable and to identify it to the antibodies that are there. And so we use a myriad of things. One of them is an elderberry extract that's very concentrated. Now, when I talk about these ingredients, we're not just talking about using a natural ingredient. We're talking about sometimes that they've been concentrated hundreds or thousands of times. And that's the way it is with our monolaurate. So we come in with a range that hits the immune system from every way possible that has been shown that we think. There are probably a few others, but from what we can find, it's the most successful in supporting the body's immune system against this bacterium. And so we use a myriad of things, like there's an olive leaf extract. Now you wonder about that, but it does have some powerful properties with it. And you can look it up and see what they are. We use what I believe is the world's most powerful immune support ingredient, and it's a mushroom, and you've probably heard of Ganoderma mushroom, but this is called chaga. It's a fungus like that is, but it's over 100 times more powerful than Ganoderma, and it's a very odd compound because funguses are in the plant world, mushrooms, and this one has DNA that is similar to the animal kingdom. It grows on the bark of birch trees, like birch trees or aspen trees. And so we had this very concentrated and put a very high dosage of it in it to be effective in what we're doing. Then we have an ingredient in it called ashwagandha, if you know what that is. And ashwagandha has some very good immune support and inflammatory properties, and it makes other compounds work better when it's with it. And so that's put in. And then we take some really powerful immune support for a wide variety of afflictions you might have, because when you get Lyme's disease, you're vulnerable, and a lot of people get a lot of peripheral diseases with it, or infections, and can be viral, or they can be bacterium, or they can be other kinds of bacterium that other than the ones that takes up Lyme disease. So we come after about everything that could happen. We want to take down inflammation. We want to support the body's immune system. The antibodies help to identify the bacterium that you're after. And those are all the things that we do. So we come in with a combination. There's a red root extract that's extremely powerful. And you've probably heard that garlic is good for the heart, but if you take a garlic extract, you can make it very concentrated. It's really powerful for the immune system. And then we take a lotus leaf extract, and it has incredible powers for particularly to support the body against that brilliant microorganism. And then the last one comes from Lyme. And it sounds odd because here's Lyme disease, and we're talking about a Lyme product, but there's some properties in it that have really got immense amounts of power for supporting particular things within the immune system to make it more powerful in going after this condition, to support your body as it goes after it. I have to be, perhaps you're seeing I'm quite careful, because I can't make drug claims or you get prosecuted on this. But you could look up the ingredients. And one thing about DSHEA, which is the Dietary Supplemental Health Education Act, it allows you to talk about ingredients and what they can do. And if they have the studies, you can publish the studies or anything. Every one of these is backed by a lot of research and a lot of clinical studies on them. But when you put them all together, you can't make a claim on what the product is for, even what those ingredients can do. What you can really say is just talk about the ingredients and then say how they're supporting the body in whatever condition that your formulation is for. This one happens to be for Lyme's disease. And but this does it in a myriad of ways with immense amounts of power. And if you look at all the studies, you'll see these are well proven, and you'll be very effective in supporting the body, so you can get some relief, and perhaps more than relief. You don't want just that. We're not symptomatically treating it. You want to really see if the body can get rid of it. And they have some new things now in cancer, and I don't know if you heard them, but just recently, what they do is they tune up the body's immune system and make it specific to killing cancers. And some cancers that where they were stage 4 terminal, and some very difficult cancers, are now being killed because the immune system, science has gotten so good that it trains it to go after those cancers, and it's fine in their cells, but it kills the cancer cells. This formulation sort of borders on that philosophy of doing it. What we're doing is bringing immune products into the system that are actually immune products, and then we're bringing ones to support the whole immunological system throughout your body in so many ways. And then, so we really go after it. But then the thing we have to do is you have to provide something to make the organism so it's vulnerable to attack. We certainly do that. And that's been the biggest reason that almost all products have failed or not been very successful in it, because they really don't go after it. And that's from the monolarm that we use. We use 2,500 milligrams of it to give that type of effect. And then there's the other consequences that happen. There's inflammation and all types of irritation and peripheral types of infections that are involved, and swelling and all of those things. And so this whole formula is designed to accomplish just that. So I've probably gone on for all the time that I should go on this, but if you're looking at something that's as serious and as difficult as this is, and so misdiagnosed, I can tell you one thing about Avenger. It is specifically designed for this on the basic science that has really been proven to work to support the body so that it can be, I believe, extremely effective. And the body has the ability to get it out, but if you don't give it the right types of nutrients or support, it can't work. And that's what this formulation is designed to do. So anyway, heat is a factor. There's no doubt about that. But when you start getting...
All right. Well, Andrea, what do you think of that? Can you hear me all right?
There's good information. Can you hear me?
A lot of great information there. You know, we take a look at the product that we have. First, we look at the testimonial that Chris Dykema gave before we had the Avenger product. And using just the triangle of life, she was able to resolve a lot of her symptoms. And again, like Tom says, we can't say cure, treat, or anything like that. But we're treating the person as a whole. We're treating the person. We're not treating the disease. And you can look what it did. I mean, using fucoidan. Well, what does fucoidan do? Fucoidan boosts the immunity of the person that's taken it, and it helps get rid of inflammation. And inflammation seems to be one of these things that shows up in almost every chronic illness that's out there. Correct?
Right.
And then the other thing is that, you know, we look at you know, the Avenger, right? And the Avenger the Eternity, what that one does is that one is the resveratrol, and it helps with DNA repair. And then we look at Spectramax, and Spectramax helps with providing the 74 trace minerals and the nutrients that we need. Very powerful products. And then we add the Avenger, and like Tom talks about, we've got the therapeutic dose based on what the research says. You need 2,500 milligrams of this monolaurin. Most companies sprinkle a little bit in there. They fairy dust it. We actually add the right amount.
Yeah, I listened to a different call that Tom had done on this product when he first released it, and he indicated on that call the concentration levels. I can just go through these really quickly if you want me to.
Let's do it. Yeah.
That's what I found amazing. The lime extract stays in the body over 24 hours. It supports the immune system. Highly concentrated, 10 times the normal concentration of it. Elderberry, effective for viruses. Again, concentrated. It works in the lymph system, the lymph nodes, the mucous membranes, and that big one, the monolaurin distilled glycerol. He stated that he had made that 100 times more effective than anything you can find on the market.
100 times more effective.
100 times more effective. And let's see, the lotus leaf, 10 times more concentrated. It's used by a plant to protect themselves against fungus and bacteria. Supports a calm effect, lowers stress, overcomes metabolic issues, preventing that do prevent weight loss. So it's helpful for weight loss. And then there was another one, and I might get this name wrong, allorophoramin, something extract, 10 times concentration, 20 times more powerful than anything you can buy in the market. And that's what I love about Tom, is he puts the ingredients in at a concentrated, effective level. The chaga is 10 times more effective. Let's see what else I had here.
Wow. You know, hey, Andrea, as you're going through that, I think of a study that I read a number of years ago, about the time that Tom came out with Avenger. And they actually, it was from a dental college, and they said that 40 years ago, these dentists had actually figured out, or they were theorizing that all bacteria, all viruses, all funguses actually produce the same biofilm that the bacterium that causes Lyme. They're saying all these other infectious agents actually produce the same biofilm, and quite possibly when you think that you have recurring infections, like let's say your child has an ear infection and it goes away and then it comes back and it goes away and it comes back, what they're actually saying now is perhaps it's the same infection and it never went away in the first place.
Right. And, you know, to explain biofilm for the hunters out there and the wives of hunters, it's like when it puts its camo on and the immune system can't see it to attack it. So we have ingredients in the Avenger that actually breaks that biofilm off from the bacteria or the virus or the fungus that's in the body, and then your immune system can go to work to get rid of it.
You got that right. Well, Andrea, we've gone over by 12 minutes, and I apologize. Part of it was because of the technical difficulties. You know, I'm a little bit challenged on some of this stuff, but I'm learning. I'm getting better. But the other thing is that I really wanted to play both the testimonial and Tom, and so, Andrea, I'll let you close out the call.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining us today on the Doctor's Call. I'm sure that Doc can post the links to both the testimony and Tom's call in the Sisel Doctors Clinic Facebook page. So you can go there and check that information out if you didn't get clear reception on that. And we appreciate you joining us. Hope to see you again next Tuesday for more good information about your health. Thank you, Doc.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye.